There we go. Incredible greetings. Hello, 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 everyone. How art thou? How is everyone? All right. Miss Gladys, I sent you a message. I didn't get a reply back. All righty. There we go. So let's see. Hello, 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 hello. Incredible greetings, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Hey, hey, hey. Aquisha, I meant to text you. Thank you so very much for your love offering to my Cash App. I'm assuming that was because I'm a veteran. So I thank you. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings. Hello, hello. Welcome, 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 welcome. Ian. All right. So, oops. All right, there we go. So, hello everyone. I am Shakia, the professor of HS Inc. 365, home of the Honestly Speaking brand of products. We carry the absolute best summation paper. We also have summation ink. With our summation paper, you're able to submit as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds. Whenever I am doing like shirts and things of that nature stuff on my press, on my flatbed press, I don't have to use a butcher paper on top because our paper does not bleed through the back. So everything goes one direction, and that is on your substrate. So definitely check out our products over on the website shop.hs8365.com. You'll find that in the description of this video. That's the only thing that's there because I was being lazy with the description. So you can find the website there or just type in. We are definitely indexed. You can type in Honestly Speaking, SPINKING, or you can type in HSINK or even HSINK 365. You're going to find us because we do really good with our SEOs. So if you didn't quite catch the website, just type that into the search, whether you are searching on Google, like Chrome, on Bing, on Safari, on Firefox, you're guaranteed to find us. All right. Over there, you're also going to find access to our classes. I mainly teach Silhouette Studio, but we do have some classes for Photoshop, business related things. We have pricing by the numbers or profit by the numbers. We have pricing therapy sessions and so much more over on our website, as well as some digital files, which digital files I've been slacking on. I don't think I've added anything to digital files in a year. So I'm definitely slacking on the digital files, but I've been enjoying teaching you guys how to make them yourselves versus making them and just kind of putting them on the site. But if you guys have any suggestions and like certain files that you want to see, let us know. We'll try and get those created for you. All right. So I will let you guys know. I thank each and every one of you who's saying salute to me for being a veteran. I am one where my time wasn't always like that great, and I talked to other veterans. It's not great. I don't believe that every holiday deserves a happy or a merry and things like that. Like, that's just my personal, take on it. So I'm not taking anything from you guys. I appreciate the love. It's just something to think about, that not everyone sees these holidays as being happy. So just be mindful of that. If you want to thank a veteran, a simple thank you for your service and your sacrifice, or a salute to you, does wonders. Kind of just talking to them, especially those who have been in wars and they've experienced all of these different things by choosing to serve their country. But it's not always happy for everyone. So that's just something to be mindful of. Not every holiday requires a happy in front of it. So that's just something to think about. All right. But I thank each and every one of you guys for all of the love, those who posted on the post that I made in regards to that, and to those who decided to leave a thank you or a love offering. I appreciate it. Just let you know, girl, I put that to use because I went and got me a chicken sandwich this morning. So that's actually how I saw it. I went to go and buy my food, and I was like, oh, look at Aquisha. But then I got here and I was like doing other work, and I forgot to text you or to message you and say thank you. But that's how I saw it, because I actually didn't get a notification that anything was sent. But when I went to go tap and pay, it's like, oh snap, okay. But anywho, I messed up on a print, and I just realized this. I was like, shoot, I gotta wait. I have about a good 30 minutes for that print to print out, and which I should have gone to check it long time ago, but I didn't. And I just went in there and it was a mistake on it. So I was like, okay, whatever. Let me print it again. And since I have to wait here for about 30 minutes, let's come on and talk about all things that I do. So it's like sublimation, silhouette. How can these things benefit you while I wait this 30 minutes for this to print out? And then I'm going home. Kind of mad at myself. So this is a way for me to not beat myself up about the fact that I should have checked that print a long time ago and saw that it was effed up. All right. So it's not quite a Q&A, but I will still be answering the questions. We're going to mainly talk about how I can benefit you in your creative journey. I was on TikTok earlier, and there was someone who was kind of, a little upset and feeling, a little down on herself, feeling like she chose the wrong printer. She didn't quite understand when things say sublimation printers and they're just a regular ET printer, that they are not sub ready and you have to purchase sublimation ink for that. So I wanted to come on and just reiterate that for anyone that is new and considering getting into sublimation. We also discovered that Epson has raised the price of their F170. So prices are going up all the way around. So they've increased their price by $50. I think the last time I checked, the F170 was $399. It is now $449. That kind of threw me off guard. So I was like, you know what? I want to talk about this. I didn't ever want to wait till Monday. But I'm like, since I messed up, let's talk about it now. Let's see. So yeah, hold on one second. Let me go over here. I need to look up something real quick, y'all. Give me just a second. All right. I was gonna say, but yeah, we're gonna talk about a little bit about printers. As far as like what's available. Some of you guys saw that I was utilizing my Sawgrass printer. So we're gonna talk about that, and I had got the question on whether or not I was like switching over to it. Will we have ink for it? So we're gonna address some of those things, and if questions come along the way, I'll answer those as well. All right. So let's first talk about these printers. If you are new, first let's ask a question. I always forget to ask that. Is there anyone here who's new? Maybe someone shared it, or maybe we just came across your feed on YouTube or Facebook, and this is your first time ever seeing my face, or maybe you've been on our page and you subscribe, but this is your first time on a live video with me. So let me know in the comment section if this is your first time on a live video with the professor. And then after those folk, who here is new to sublimation or considering sublimation, but you haven't quite pulled the trigger on purchasing any equipment? Might be a little time delay, so I'm going to give it a minute. All right, so we have a couple people who are first timers. All right, all right. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you guys are already subscribed to this channel, thank you guys for coming back. If you are new here, welcome. If you're watching the playback of this and this is your first time here, thank you for clicking on this video, and welcome. All right. So again, like I said, I am Shakia the Professor. I teach everything from designing, sublimation, regular printing, like with dye-based printers, pigment ink printers, laser printers, eco-solvent printers, so all things printing, hence the name, honestly speaking. Anything that involves ink, your girl has some knowledge on it and, can talk about that subject matter. We also talk about business, everything from startup and setting it up properly, understanding your tax that when it comes to taxes, customer service, pricing, all that kind of good jazz. And many follow us, or they've come to subscribe and put the bell on because I do a lot of videos like Q&As. Now, Q&As are kind of sort of on pause for the rest of 2023, but there's like loopholes. So when I come on and I'm just kind of talking about certain things, if you happen to have a question that falls within the realm of what we're discussing, I will answer that question. But as far as just like, hey, I'm just jumping on, hey, what questions do you guys have? We're not doing any of those anymore. But we're definitely here to help in any way that we can. We have a Facebook group. That's a great way to, also get help. Post your questions over there, or come across one of our YouTube videos, post a question on that. I did say I was going to start making a weekly post on YouTube, like under the community tab. And that's where you would post any questions for that week for those who are not on Facebook, but still need to, have a question or two. Try to be as detailed as possible with those questions. The more details you can provide, the better I can assist you, because it can be like a number of things. We experienced that this morning. Someone asked a question. We were on TikTok. And so I had to show her like 2 different ways. So it really, really depends on what it is that you're trying to do, because there's probably 3 or 4 different ways to accomplish it. And it's like, what program are you using? What, if you're having issues with sublimation, are you using an oven? Is it a small oven? Is it a large oven? Is it a regular oven that's in your kitchen? Are you using a tumbler press? Are you using a mug press and you have to press it in sections? A lot of variables. So provide as much detail as possible when you are seeking help via a post. And if you're on Facebook, pictures definitely help. Okay. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about sublimation. So I did ask the question. So maybe we don't need to talk about sublimation, because I asked or like go over the beginning stuff. Maybe I need to spend a lot of time on it, because those who are currently watching, you're already set up. So once again, is there anyone here that is brand new to it? You are struggling with sublimation in certain things and some things aren't quite working for you, or you're doing a lot of research and you have yet to purchase any printers? Hi, Tim. All right, so most people here are not new. So for those who are watching the playback, I'll just kind of skim over this a little bit so that we can get to some other information that might be beneficial to those who are on with us live right now. Okay. Okay. So when it comes to sublimation, what happened with someone that was watching on a different platform was she ordered a printer from Amazon and it was labeled as a sublimation printer. Epson printers, literally any Epson printer, can be used for sublimation. It can be used for sublimation. Are they actually sublimation printers? No, they are not. The ink that comes in that, there are some actual Epson sublimation printers. We're going to get to those. But the ones that you're going to find on like Amazon, that you're going to find on like Best Buy, Staples, Office Depot, Walmart, Target, places like that, those are not the SureColor F series as far as sublimation, or any of like the SureColor T series and things of that nature. So all of these desktop printers that you're going to find in regular big box stores, they are standard printers, but because they are heat free, they are ideal for sublimation and to put sublimation ink in it. If the bottle says Epson, that is not sublimation ink. Do not put that in your printer if your goal is to have a sublimation printer, or a printer that you can print sublimation ink from. None of these printers in Costco's, in Sam's, BJ's, like wherever it is, they are not sublimation printers. Do not put the Epson ink in there. You must go to shop.hsink365.com and order the sublimation ink. We have two different types of ink. We have pigment ink and we do have sublimation ink. Make sure that you are ordering the sublimation ink. If you click on the one that is yellow, that's going to take you right there. Your ink is going to be there for the formula to be like, just click on that yellow thumbnail. It's going to take you to everything that you need for any of those Epson ET printers that you are going to convert. You must have sublimation ink. I cannot stress that enough. Write this information down if you feel like you're not going to remember it all. Now, Epson does have an 8.5-inch wide printer that is sublimation ink in that printer, and that Epson bottle is supposed to be put into those tanks. That is the F170. You're not going to really find that in big box stores. You're going to find that from vendors and things like online. And for some people, some of these vendors are local to you, so you can probably go and pick it up. But that is the F170, F170 series. That is a true sublimation printer. The ink that is in that printer is sublimation ink. Now, not a lot of people use that one, or at least like make videos for it where they're going over settings and things of that nature. So you're going to have to do a deep dive for information on the settings. So the settings for that one are pretty much the same as the F570. So if you end up looking for videos in reference to the F570, which is the 24-inch printer, you'll see the actual print screen if you're kind of confused on how that looks. But all of the settings, all of the recommendation for settings in all of these craft groups that are using Epson workforce printers or Epson EcoTank printers or Epson expression printers, none of those print settings will work for you if you purchase the F170. It is just a 8.5-inch printer. The cost of it is now $449 for that 8.5-inch wide printer. Outside of that, you have, which I was testing the other day. When I say testing, I was actually just doing some prints to answer a question on TikTok, but I've actually printed from it before, is the Sawgrass 500. That one runs about $575 for 8.5 by 11 up to 14. To print longer than that, like on the rolls, you have to buy the bypass tray. Then, there's other printers too, but for those who are just starting, you want to just get your feet wet. You're going to get these Epson printers. Do know that when you get the ET printers and even the workforce printers, it's not going to be true to color. And this is kind of a representation of that. So this is truer to color in how it looks kind of like on screen, but to me, it's still not like exact. I don't know. I guess it is. This to me just looks so green, and not enough blue tones to it. This one didn't have enough yellow tone. So this was printed with an Epson printer. This was printed with a Sawgrass printer. Still both, like they're both still very, very vibrant, but of course there is a color difference between this one and this one. So that's one. And then if you're using an EcoTank printer, the colors also is going to be even more different from this because of the way the ink works. We have tons of videos going over that, so I'm not going to dwell on that too much. Okay. Thank you. You are very welcome. I have an Epson 7820 and I have struggled with getting this printer to work. Hey. So yeah, when it comes to the workforce printer, I had high hopes. I feel kind of sort of bad because when that printer came out, we purchased it. We actually gave away a few of those printers. Just like the old school workforce, like they kind of came out, you were using the Epson cartridges, taking the chips off, putting on there until they came up with refillable cartridges and compatible chips. They came out with the continuous ink system. So here we are assuming that the same thing is going to happen because they've done this for other Epson printers. Well, with the new one and however Epson set it up, those cartridges or the chips on it sometimes don't work, depending on which firmware that you have. These chips now are programmed for specific firmwares. So if you have updated your firmware, or when you purchase your printer, it already had the new firmware on it. When you go to use these third-party cartridges and chips, if it had chips on it that were compatible with the old firmware and not the new one, it's not going to work. The only way that you're going to be able to get that printer to work with refillable cartridges is to purchase Epson cartridges, take the chips off, put them onto, you have to kind of modify the clip. We do have a video on that, to put that or kind of sit that chip on that clip and put it in your printer, and then you're able to just, use it that way. But as far as the third party ones, they are hit and miss. And I liked at first the way the printer prints out, but then those pinwheels and the fact that there's now an additional row of them, I can't stand it. You can't clean it. Even with using it as a regular printer, we have two. We have a 7820 and a 7840. Even with using it as a regular standard printer, it's annoying because of all of those extra pinwheel marks. It leaves little indentions in our glossy paper, and even the matte paper. You don't see it as much because there's no glare to it, but if you look closely, you can see those little dots. So those pinwheels are very, very, very aggressive on that particular printer, and it drives me nuts. So yes, a couple years ago, I did recommend it. I was, the first print, I was impressed from it. Now, not so much. I don't recommend, like, what is it? 0 out of 10. Don't recommend the 7820, 7840 printers. Incredible greetings. Hello, hello, hello. A lot of newbies to this, that especially they want a wide format. It is like they're the most cost effective, but they are also the most, like, they give the most headaches. The printer that I would end up recommending if you're just starting out, the least expensive, most viable option for sublimation that's not a true sublimation printer is going to be the ET 16600 or 16650, whichever one is available in the store that you are that you are shopping in. 16600, 16650, those are going to be the best options, but they're going to run you $1,000. Gone are the days of being able to have a wide format 13-inch printer for $200 to $300. Those days are long gone. Can you still get the workforce? Yes, but it's going to be a lot of headache with the cartridges. We have a few cartridges left for those particular printers. You have the old firmware. We do not have any chips. We won't be ordering any chips until, like, they'll send us some periodically. We test it. If it doesn't work with the new firmware, hey, we just revert our printer back, and we revert our printer back, and then we can still use those chips, but we have to go back to the old firmware. We only have the old firmware for the 7820 and 7840 printers. We don't have one or an option if you have a 7310 printer. And we only send out that option to those who have actually purchased ink and, no, not ink. If you've purchased the cartridges and or chips from us, we are able to send you that to roll back your firmware to the one where those will work, but not for anyone else. Okay. We did recommend it at one point, but I don't recommend it anymore. All right. So yeah, that's that on printers. Let me just check something real quick. Hold on. I have the Epson F570, but I can't set the wide side because my list of printers don't show up under page setup. One, I don't have that particular printer, like print manager, so I'm not sure anything about it. I can't even recommend like I don't really look for YouTube videos about that printer because I don't have it. I don't have anyone that I could recommend that you might be able to contact them directly. Post, I would say in the Facebook groups, make a post, see if someone has it and they're able to share their screen or take a screenshot or go through something with their setup. That's the only thing I can recommend because we don't have one of those. So I don't, we're not at that point yet to be able to kind of show it to you. And I don't know if I'll ever get, because I'm like, if I'm going to upgrade, 24 inches really doesn't do anything for me. I would want a 36 or a 44. So I don't know if I'll ever even get the F570 unless at some point I run into some folks from Epson and they gift me with one. Can't say that I'll actually order them, but we do plan to get the larger format one, but not the, and I'm not sure if the print manager is the same for the 36 and 44s as it is for the 24. All right. So the next order of business is, oh, hold on. Let's create that. Next order of business is classes and things that we teach. How many of you guys here use Silhouette Studio already? By show of hands or me's, who currently uses Silhouette Studio to design? There is a 570 group, but they have not had much help for me. I wish to bring manager. Wait, I wish the Epson manager was the same. I would know what to do. Yeah, I figured the print. I figured you were saying print manager. So me. I do. Okay, so for those who are saying me, do you also are you using it because you have a Cameo machine, or do you use something else and you are using it just as a design software? Come on. So, is there anyone here who has never considered using Silhouette Studio as a design software because you're like, oh, well, I don't have a Cameo? So, who here has never considered using it and you like your first instinct or your first thought was to learn like Affinity or Photoshop or Corel Draw or Illustrator, things like that, because you feel like, oh, well, I don't have a Cameo machine, so I don't need to learn Silhouette Studio. Oh my gosh, what the heck is going on here? I have 3 cameos. I kind of peeps. I have 6 of them. Both Cameo, you have Cameos, and it's primarily your primary design software just for designing. You have a Cameo 3 and 4. I usually use it for printing and cutting. So, what do you design in? What software do you design in? Okay, let's see. I thought this until I found your channel, Silhouette Studio, and sometimes PowerPoint. Interesting. PowerPoint for design. Silhouette Studio Business Edition. Hey. Silhouette. I have Affinity in Photoshop, but never use them. So may I ask, what was it that made you want to purchase Affinity in Photoshop if you've never used them, and why? And why is it that you haven't used them? Since y'all never asked me questions, I'm going to do the question asking today. Everyone says that. If you would have met my grandmother or saw my grandmother, he stole her face. Okay, so you don't use it because you just don't know how. I purchased your beginner to Photoshop last week. Okay. So now let me ask this question then. If you're using Silhouette, what properties of Photoshop, like what do you feel like Photoshop will give you that Silhouette does not or has not, based off of what, like how you design what you've been designing? What more are you looking to get from Photoshop that you feel like you were not getting in Silhouette? Oh my gosh, come on. What is wrong with this? I originally started out with it when I had a craft robo years ago. As I progressed, I upgraded. I use it for creative SVG for embroidery software too. I will go back and check the messages. Oh my gosh, what the heck? What is going on here? I'm trying to do 30,000 things at one time. All right. Kind of waiting for that last one so that we can talk about like Select Studio, what it provides, like what type of designing you can do in it, and things of that nature, and knowing when it's time to maybe upgrade. Oh my gosh, this is really making me mad. I use it for design and cutting because you have a cutting machine. I used to have Photoshop, but they started acting funny, and I just got the Silhouette, and now I'm glad I didn't invest in Photoshop again. Silhouette has the same qualities. Sorry, no, I like the long posts. Like I like it to be as detailed as possible. That's the whole reason in me asking, because I'm just trying to get a better idea of the audience. People who are here. What is it that you're trying to learn? And things of that nature. This is driving me crazy. I don't know what's going on with this. All right, so I prefer, like, I know Photoshop. I've used Photoshop, Illustrator, Corel Draw, things of that nature. Do I have Affinity? Yes, I have both of them. The original Affinity, not Affinity 2.0. I personally did not care for Affinity and its interface and what was available to you. Now they have upgraded and they have added some things to Affinity too, but you had to buy that all over again. Just not my cup of tea. I am one where I'm not really big on a lot of these like splash type designs. I used to always say back in the day when people used to ask me to make like invitations or flyers, I'm not that club flyer type person that has like all of like the flares and glares and this, that, and the third. Like my design style is very, very different. So Photoshop wasn't really a software for me like I pined over because I wanted to create these types of things. Vector softwares work better for me. So put more I invested more time into learning things like Illustrator and Corel Draw because I'm more of a shape type person. I can create the shading that I want with, different colors and lighter and darker colors, creating like shadows and highlights. I like to create kind of 3D things. Photoshop for me was for photo correction. If I needed to change the color of something, if I needed to shrink something down, liquefy it, if I had to remove a blemish, remove a timestamp, um, if I needed to crop it away from a background, I would do that in Photoshop and then build out my menu or whatever it was in like Illustrator and things of that nature. Based off of my personal design style, for the majority of things, Photoshop it wasn't my go-to. It was always those vector-based softwares. So when I found Silhouette, I'm like, okay, I can vibe with this. And then there are properties that are similar to Photoshop, like changing your colors, like your hue, your saturation, things like that. Of course, like vectors-based softwares, you can um subtract and weld and do all these different things. So many people will push Photoshop like, okay, yeah, this is the this is what graphic designers use, but there's different types of graphic designers. For some, Photoshop isn't the software that they need. Like it needs to be done in a vector format, which is what you would use Illustrator for. If Photoshop was all that you need, why would Adobe create different softwares that provide you different tools and functions? So it's not the be all of it. And then when it comes to Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer are two different things and they serve two different purposes. I know these softwares. I am getting into teaching Photoshop more. Illustrator, I'll be honest, what I'm seeing right now from a lot of my followers and those who are coming over here for information, if you are struggling with silhouette, Illustrator is going to make you even more frustrated because there's now more tools. It's not so straightforward. Terminology is not as simplistic as it is with Silhouette Studio. So I'm not really looking to teach Illustrator as far as like using it to design until I know that you have an understanding of how vector softwares work and using Silhouette Studio and learning, I'm not gonna say the hard way, but the full-on step-by-step and like the manual way of doing it. Because a lot of things in Illustrator, you can do it, and it's kind of like some stuff is like a push of a button, like to create seamless patterns. There's a pattern maker in there, but it's important to know how you need to set it up to make your own pattern if you ever have to go to a different software. So my focus is really teaching you the fundamentals of design. Certain things don't change from program to program. How you have to set it up, it doesn't change. It's the same exact concepts. It's just that each program have different features. I was doing a video today on TikTok, well, an example today on TikTok. Like if it was a leg that like it was kind of a word that was split in between someone's legs. So I showed her how to do the cover up. Now, Photoshop, it's the same exact concept. You would have to put a layer on top and then blend away or erase away the parts that you don't want to show. So it's the same exact concept. It's just that in this software, you're able to use a brush and maybe get a little bit more detail, whereas this one, you crop it down. Hey, it's in front. But at the end of the day, it's the same. So I choose to teach you guys about graphic designing. I'm not teaching Silhouette Studio just to use with the Cameo machine. Now, it's been asked of me to do more with the Cameo. For me, in my mind, I'm just thinking, okay, once you design it, the machine is just going to cut it. I personally have never experienced a lot of these issues that others have when it comes to the cutting machine. Not sure if it's just because I've been using cutting machines for a really long time. I understand how the blade and stuff like that works. I can go and let's say we do a topper. Okay, we're going to design it and then we just need to cut this paper. Now, if yours isn't cutting like mine, there's so many different variables. There is, you know, are you using a mat? Are we using the same type of mat? Is your mat messed up? Like, do I have a brand new mat and you have a used like a mat that's worn down? What about your cutting strip? What's the condition of that? What about your blade? I'm using a manual blade. You're using an auto blade, which don't cut very well. The pressure on it is like very much so different. And even if we were both using a manual blade, is your blade brand new? Is my blade brand new? How old is yours? If you cut so many different things with it to where it's dull, do you need to change yours? Because my pressure is going to be different from your pressure. Okay, are we using the exact same paper? So I'm teaching this class. Did you go out and buy the exact same paper that I told you to purchase? Or you're like, oh, well, it's just white paper. I already have some white paper here. I'm just going to print it on this. Well, guess what? Now your settings are going to be off. And it can cause frustrations. But how we ease these frustrations is, although it might seem long and boring, it's getting the information about how does blades work? How does blade depth, speed, and force work together? How do I figure out which one do I need to adjust based off of my blade, my mat, my cutting strip, the paper or vinyl that I am using? I teach on that level so that you don't have to, because if you just rely on taking a class and off of what they did and you don't have their exact same setup, when you go to try it yourself, you're going to be lost. And their videos, their classes may not have addressed that. So now you're like, okay, what do I do? You end up feeling like it's something that you're doing wrong. You end up feeling like the failure, and it's not that. It's just that you're not using the exact same setup that they had. If the class wasn't okay, everybody for this one, you need to purchase a blade. It needs to be the manual blade. Everybody's going to open up a brand new blade and put it in the machine. We are all using this 32-pound koala paper. We are all going to get a Cricut mat because y'all know I can't stand silhouette mats. We're going to set this and calibrate this Cricut mat. We're going to put it on here. So we're all going to cut from it. Wait, well, it was a couple people. I have 3 machines. I have 4 machines. I have a 3 and a 4. Well, the 3 cuts differently than the 4. The 4 is going to cut different than the 5. They all cut differently than the original. This one's going to take a little bit longer. This one's going to be faster. Well, on this one, it only had a speed up to 10. This one has a speed up to 20. This one only had a force up to 10. This has a force up to 25, 30. So they're all different. It's important to understand how they work. I can do a video and I can show you how to do stickers. But the moment you go to do the stickers and you're using your paper, your ink, and it doesn't look like mine, I don't want you to feel like you did anything wrong. I want you to be to have taken a class where you have detailed notes or detailed videos, and when it's not working out for you, you can go back to that and say, okay, let me check. Okay, let me do my checklist. Okay, this is this, whatever. All right, I'm looking at it. Is it cutting through all the way? No. Okay, I may need to adjust this, that, and the third. Learning how to actually utilize your machines. That is what we focus on at 365 Creative Academy. If that is the type of instruction, if you're really looking to excel and master what you are doing, you are in the right place. If you're trying to figure out the quickest and cheapest way to do this, I recommend that you find someone else, because I just cannot give you that. I'm going to give you details. I'm going to give it to you based off of experience. Not too many people can say that they've cut as many items as I have cut on these machines and have created as many designs that I have created, and the level of designs within this software. If that is what you are looking for, you're in the right place. And my year of experience is worth some compensation. So not everything is going to be free on these platforms. I thank you to each and every person that has found me on Facebook and YouTube and choose to support. You come on, you watch, you give a like, you share. Some people will send a Cash App or send stars or send a super chat. I am very much so grateful for all of that. But a main part of our business, we have registered this business as an educational type business, and that's our primary source of revenue. So we are going to have things that you're going to have to pay for, and it might be in steps to actually learn all of this. Some people go to college for 4 years to get just not even to learn the trade of making shirts or making tumblers. They go there just to learn about designing and understanding paper, understanding printers, understanding color. I'm doing my best to expose you guys to all of these different variables that will help you in your business or be the best at this in your hobby. But you have to be willing to invest the time. Okay. So I agree with Ada. I don't like the cost thing with Photoshop. Besides Studio will do everything I need it to do. Yeah, for some people, they don't need the extras. Like when I need to make like my text pop, I like Photoshop because of the layers. When I'm doing stuff like obituaries, and I need things to be the same, I don't want to have to apply it, I can just copy like a layer style. That's where Photoshop really excels for me, but that's a different level of designing. Most of the people that I come across in the groups and like who follow my YouTube, they are on a beginner level. So they don't really need the complexity of like Photoshop. To me, the price isn't bad because Photoshop by itself, you don't have to do everything else. You can get Photoshop for just $20 a month. Or is it $9? $9.99? Because the what makes it different is your cloud storage. And if you have a decent hard drive, you don't really need the cloud storage. So you can get, I want to say, is it $19.99 or $9.99 a month? So it's not too bad. We'll probably spend that, even if it was if it was $20 a month. Most of us will spend that on junk food, fast food, things like that. And spending that on Photoshop will give you the ability to make more money and being able to create different things. What classes am I doing? What do you mean, like right now or what's coming up? Hey, just say. Um, yeah, but to people that invested 1,000 for the full platform, um, and have them disregard, that was definitely a no. Wait, huh? Wait, yeah, but to people that invested 1K for the full platform and have them disregard, that was definitely a no go for me. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, it is 9.99. I was no longer able to use it. They wanted me to buy the new version. No, because I actually had a computer for the longest time. Like I decided to because of the upgrades. You can still use it because that was on your computer. Now, if you upgraded your computer. So that program, of course, it only worked up to a certain point. So, like with Windows, they went from like Windows 2000 and you had Vista, and then you had like, what is it now? Windows 11. Like, what's it? You had Vista, you had, I can't even think of all the different ones you had. So if it was where it was no, they were going to create support, they weren't going to continue to create updates to support the new iOSs for Macs, the new softwares for Windows, then that means you have to keep that computer, at that, like with that, whatever that operating system was. Now, if you upgraded your computer, they don't have to honor and make it where they're going to update it to fit the updated operating system. But I had one, XP. That's the one. Because I think it's XP and then Vista. Because I have softwares where I have to leave that computer on whichever one came first, XP or Vista. Whichever one came first, I have to leave that computer. If I want to use that software, I have to leave that computer on that operating system. I could never update it because once I updated it, it's now no longer compatible with that particular software because I'm not purchasing the one where it will be like the different upgrades. Yeah, I figured that's what happened. So it's not that they did anything wrong. You paid for it at that particular operating system. And it costs a lot of money to keep creating. If technology is moving, for them to continue to make plugins and make upgrades for an outdated software, that's kind of a waste of money. From a business standpoint, that's not a good business move. It's like, okay, you have to move with the progression. If you don't want to move with the progression, I can't help you. If that computer dies, yes, you paid $1,000 for it, but we guarantee that it would work on this particular operating system. And I personally think it's not a bad thing to pay $9.99. And if there is an update right now, those who are paying for it, you automatically get this 2024 version where AI is included in it. Yes, you'll never own it with this particular way. And if you ever stop paying for it, you cannot utilize it, but you are getting access to all of the upgrades that they are making. But even with Silhouette, right? Silhouette isn't the greatest. The new version sucks. Like I would give anything to have version 3. So yeah, Silhouette is free. You can use it, but it comes with so many bugs. So many people have issues where it just shuts down and they have a gaming computer. They have a decent computer, but it's still very, very buggy. They're not investing a lot of money in improving that software because they're not getting any revenue for it. Photoshop will invest in upgrading it and keeping up with the times, adding, AI to it because people are paying for that every single month or every single year and they have the revenue to update it. Why would I really put a lot of emphasis on something that you don't even have to buy my machine in order to utilize this software? I have contributed to a lot of people using Silhouette Studio for absolutely free. They may pay a one-time fee for business edition and they've $50. And even with that, like I've sent them over to Swing Design to get business edition for $50, whereas Silhouette America is selling it for $99. So they're not even getting the full amount for it. They gave the swing design for a lower cost. They're selling it for 50. So they're losing money that way. They're not, you're not buying machines. People aren't upgrading every time they buy. So it's a little bit different when you really start to think about that through the lenses of business. So that part, I can't really fault them for it. That's like with me, we have different programs. Someone that purchased Essentials of Silhouette Studio 2 years ago, they don't get access to any of the new information. If you want access to the new information, you're going to have to sign up for it. That one purchase, I can't grow my business. I can't survive to where I'm going to keep giving you access to upgraded information, newer ways of doing things, more efficient ways of doing things. And I'm supposed to keep teaching you off of $35 that you paid 2 years ago. Some people didn't like that when I end up doing a 30-day training. It's like, oh, but I just did this one. Okay, well, I packed all of that in one day. 30 days, I gave it to you spread out over 30 days, a lot more information. Even with the challenges, okay, you took 30 days. Well, this is a specific class. We're going over something, a specific project. I'm working with you like step by step, almost like one-on-one, but not quite one-on-one. Those who ask questions, they shared their screen. They basically got one-on-one help. I can't go and give all the thousands of students that purchased the 30-day training, I can't give you access to the challenges just for free, because then I'm working for free. Then I'm not bringing in revenue and my bills don't get paid. So same thing with Photoshop. If they don't make it to where they're getting new customers in and they have revenue all the time, people are going to be let off. So you have to really start to look at things through the lens of business. And when you start to do that for other businesses, it's going to give you more clarity on your business and how you are operating when you're thinking about improvements in your business. It's one thing to like, okay, well, I'm okay now. I just have this print, I have a small format printer. I'm doing okay. I don't need anything additional. But what happens when you need to now upgrade to a new printer? You have such a heavy workload to where you now have to hire staff. You're not going to be able to keep those same prices when you now have additional overhead. When you now have upgraded equipment, that upgraded equipment is costing more money. So thinking like giving businesses some grace in how they're operating and really thinking about it will definitely help you guys in your business as well. All right. So yeah, wanted to talk about, oh, you are very, very, it's so weird to see you over on YouTube. I'm so used to seeing your name over on Facebook. Didn't even realize you had a YouTube page. I'm like, I had to look up. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the YouTube icon. So it's nice to know that you also follow me over here. Because I just thought that I'm always thinking like most people kind of follow, like if I've never seen them or realized that, like they just follow me like from certain platforms. That's kind of cool that you follow me from YouTube as well. Um, Now, some people also asked about the challenge. We had a lot going on this week. Baby boy was sick. We had to deal with some things with like insurance. I had service programs. So it was a really, really busy week. I want to be able to do the challenges. Sometimes it is hard trying to put it all together. Anyone that has taken a challenge, you can see that I put a lot of effort into it, because sometimes I do the full on project, and when you're getting your worksheet, you're getting the elements, but you're also getting the finished product. So you can say you can physically see what it should look like once you're done. And if it doesn't look like that, okay, I can figure out what I need to do. Then I have to label everything on the reference guide and set everything up. So it can be a bit of an undertaking setting all of that up when we have other things going on. Yes, I would like to be able to do the challenges and finish out challenge. It was supposed to be 8 through, I think it was like 13 or Yeah, 13. Now we're probably 12 because I'm not going past the 23rd of December. I was also asking, what is it that you guys want to learn? I know some, oh, whatever you want to teach. That's a wrong way of thinking because you're going to waste time on consuming something that you don't need. It is best that you spend your time and your money wisely on something that you actually want to learn. What's really hard for me is I'm not big in creating files for fall or for Thanksgiving, like all these different things. I'm not that girly where, I want to wear something that's like pumpkin spice and fall. I don't really rock anything that had like the bougie and the ghost and the ghouls. Christmas time, I'm not, give me some reindeers. It says Noel. I'm going to put it on the shirt like for some pajamas. I think the most I did was make the Santa tray when it comes like, okay, let's say it's like an ornament, things like that. But the ornament I made was like just like someone's picture. I made the one for the cheer team. It's something specific, right? So I'm not just like creating like Christmassy type things. I've done greeting cards just to show you guys how to do it, but I don't even make my own greeting cards. I don't even give out Christmas cards because I don't like receiving Christmas cards because they just gonna be, I'm like, I feel bad because you took the time to send it, but do I really want a bin full of cards? No. These suckers need to go in the garbage at some point because they're just piling up. I know how I feel about greeting cards. Now I don't want nobody else to feel that way. So I'm not a big greetings card person. But if you guys said, hey, I like to make my own greeting cards, I want to understand how to set it up, how to properly size it, I'm able to teach it, even though it's not something that I typically do. I got into all of this more so for parties and event planning, things like that. Graduation is really, really big for me. Birthdays, baby showers, things of that nature. I'm not big on the holidays. So when it comes down to it, I struggle with what it is that you guys want to learn. Because I know I have people that do all types of different things. I have like Kathy, she does a lot of stuff with her fibers and this type of designs that she's creating. It's more like farm chic, as I like to call it, because she's done some things like with little rabbits, and she goes to fairs and like vendor shows, and that is the culture that's there. She does a lot of stuff with veterans and making stuff with flags, and just for that, like even though I'm a veteran, I'm not big on that. Like I don't have an audience. I a lot of times focus on when I'm designing, like who I market to. So it's a lot of sports things. It's going to be stuff for schools, but I'm also not big on all of these crazy like designs and splashes. I like shapes and letters and stuff like that. So I struggle with what to teach. A lot of things that I'm going to create, it's just text, and it's learning how to arrange that text, how to space it, how to fill in negative space, how to choose the right fonts. But some of that is not, hey, I'm going to show you how to do this. It's talking through it. It's me guiding you through it and explaining, well, when you're looking for this type of design, okay, these are the type of fonts for that, and maybe showing an example of it, but you still have to go out and figure out the exact font that's going to work for you. So I am struggling a little bit, and having all the stuff that happened last week kind of threw me off. I think I'm on track for this week's challenge. And what I'm also trying, like not trying to do, I'm doing a lot of planning for the bachelor's and master's program. I don't want to take what I'm planning for that, because then if I'm teaching it at a $5 class or a $23 class, what's going to make you want to sign up for the program because I've already taught it. So I'm diligently working on all of the lessons, and we're going to have quizzes and stuff like that for 2024. But I do want to still provide like some smaller classes for you guys now. But you got to let me know. Like I'm making posts. You guys aren't responding to it. Oh, it's whatever you want to teach. I need you guys to be specific. Anything other than AI. I can't stand AI. I'm not teaching you AI. I cannot stand it. It's weird to me. I'm not teaching AI. You guys can stop asking that. I don't like AI. Okay. um uh let's see. Any questions for me? I'm gonna get off of here soon. I'm kind of finished. I'm pretty sure it's done. I'm well over my 30 minutes. I'm actually a whole 30 minutes over how long I was going to be on here because I was waiting for that thing to print. Um, any questions for moi before we hop off of here? You don't like AI either? Yeah, I'm just not big on the AI situation. Like, yeah, yeah. My mom keeps trying to get me, oh Shakia, but that's everybody teaching. That's the new wave. And okay, that's nice. It looks crazy to me. And for how a lot of people are using it, I can see where it can maybe be beneficial for certain things, but how people are using it now is just like a no for me. Hey, I was just talking about you, Kathy. Oh my gosh, come on. What about the challenge? No, I was saying when I was talking about different designs, like it's hard for me. Like I can teach anything, but I'm always saying I need for you guys to let me know what type of designs you're trying to work on. And so I use you as an example that you like to create designs based off of like what you guys do with your fibers and the vendor shows that you go to where it's like more like farm, like we did like the rabbits, or that you do veterans type designs. I'm not, that's not the designs like I kind of create. I can teach you how to design anything, but I need to know what it is that you're actually trying to learn. This week, no. Well, of course, we're on Saturday. No, I'm trying to do them, but I'm focusing. I did the challenges because it was kind of in it. Like, I mean, it's a entry point to see my teaching and if it's going to work for you. Like when I have the actual programs that we're doing, that's going to last 6 months, 3 months, like two sets of like 3 months for those. And I'm focusing a lot of my attention on that and putting together what curriculum I'm going to teach. So doing the challenges sometimes is a little bit difficult, and I've been asking the questions. This is why y'all were on punishment and I wasn't doing Q&As, because I come on here and it's just, okay, well, whatever she teaches. But I cannot teach that way because it's so many of you guys all on different levels, all have different things that you are designing for. I'm trying my best to not like just kind of cut all of it off and say, all I'm going to teach on is about parties, like events and stuff like that. Anything outside of that, I'm not teaching anything else. I'm not going to show you how to do X, Y, and Z. Like if it's not something I can use for a party, I'm not showing, because that's really how I got into a lot of this. I needed a way to make my parties pop. Of course, I know how to do other things, but if you guys are not being vocal about what you want to learn, my platform will pretty much go back to I'm only going to do stuff for events. Do you have any idea why none of my printers show up under the print page setup in Silhouette? Only thing there is paper size source. Okay, so if you're referring to that first thing that pops up, we did a video on that. Exit out of it, and then your properties will come up. With the new update for Windows, that was one of the things that kind of came up. There's hold on, let me do this. Present, share screen. So if you go and hit print, ooh, what are you doing? Yeah, you go away. So let's say you go to print. What the hell? Why is everything acting so slow? Not that one. It's a different one supposed to pop up. That's kind of weird that came up because normally that's not what comes up. All right, let's exit out. Oh, this is what normally comes up. Is this what you are referring to? That this pops up and not anything else? If so, normally it pops up first. You just exit out and then the other one's there. So I'm going to try this again, shall we? I also don't have the version where I have the print preview. If you have Silhouette's print preview, this will come up after you look at the preview and you hit print. This is then what will come up. So if you have this, mine never connects from Silhouette Studio. Never does mine connect. You're just going to exit out and then your print preferences will be here. Oh, no, you don't. So page setup is, okay, so you're actually just doing it the wrong way. So if you go to page setup, that's just setting up your margins and things like that under print page setup. That's not where you want to go. You just want to go to print, and then that will bring up your actual print settings. So yeah, that's all that this is going to show, because this is a way for you to kind of set it. Like, let's say if you're using the print preview and it was set to letter, but now using 13 by 19, you can click on here, go to 13 by 19 or whatever your custom size was. So now you go to print preview, it shows it. If you wanted to customize your margins, things like that. But yeah, print page setup is not where you should be going. You're simply going to hit the printer icon, or you're just going to go file print. And that is how you get to your print settings. I'm hoping I can get one put together for this week. This week we had a lot going on. I asked the questions. I'll ask again as far as what is that you guys are interested in learning. People were saying stuff like banners. This can be a banner. What's on the screen right now can be a banner. You just have to size it, and it's a banner. I don't make banners. I don't print banners. I can't show you how to do the grunt. Well, I do print banners, but I don't do I don't really teach that part. Printing them, putting the hem tape on it, putting grommets in it. I don't really go through that part of showing about banners. But as far as designing, really design is the same across the board. You just have to know how to properly make your template, how to measure it, and then how to crop things, how to blend, it's understanding the design concepts. So that's why I was asking, what type of designs are you guys wanting to learn for your business, your hobby? Show me some examples. I got into this because I want to learn what. I got into getting these machines because I wanted to make invitations. I wanted to make party props. I wanted to make centerpieces. I wanted to make little wraps for candles or cups or water bottles. That's what I wanted to make, little cutouts and little toppers, stuff like that. That's what I got into this for originally. So it's trying to figure out and, learn and apply what I already knew for graphic design. Okay, how do I make this work for this? If I want to create my own custom Christmas tags, how do I do that? That's what I got into it for. So when I was seeking information, I'm looking for videos. I'm looking for that specific content. Kathy, she might be looking to utilize sublimation and utilizing her Cameo or Cricut, whatever cutting machine, to create things that go with her fibers and her alpacas, the bunnies and stuff like that. Those are the type of shows that she goes to. So how do I find these types of images? How can I create a design that's going to be appealing to them and I can mix? So she did this one that was really, really cool. She learned from us. And so it was, that's the one where you did like the yarn. I think the needle was going through it. So like those are things that she needed to learn how to design. Those are the kind of questions I'm asking about. Not just, oh, well, I want to learn how to make a flyer. A flyer for what? Because a flyer for an accountant that's going to need to be clean line and not anything that's too busy is going to be different than a flyer for a sports team, a flyer for a club, a flyer for a car wash, like a mobile car wash company, a banner. What do you want this banner for? Is it supposed to be a cheer banner? My friend of mine, she did the banners like with all the different teams. That's a little bit different than a birthday banner. A backdrop, and also it's about learning terminology. A lot of you guys are not finding the answers or the videos or the posts, the classes that you need because you don't even understand the terminology. But so many people feel like they don't want to pay for that. If someone says they had a class and they're not showing you anything, they're just talking and they're giving you the information that you need on how to search for these things. What's the proper keywords? What's the proper terminology? Because I know I struggle with it. People struggle in finding, I have great content, but I also use the correct words. It took me a long time to come around to putting everything as an SVG. Because in my mind, I'm like, this ain't no damn SVG. Like it's a vector file. Like I'm vectorizing it. But I had to come to the understanding that those who are consuming my content, they don't know that yet. They haven't been taught the proper terminology. So if I want them to find this video, I got to use words like SVG. Ugh. I don't refer to this as, when I first started, yes, I was just crafting. I was just sharing that with other crafters. Come the pandemic, everyone's now asking me about business. Well, that mindset changes. So I stopped using things like craft, and because I don't associate the two. A craft business to me is Michael's, is Joann's, is Hobby Lobby. Like that's a craft business. Or someone that might like set up things to like do different crafts, like painting with a twist, or crafting with the twist. Like that would be kind of a craft business. But when you're making custom garments, you're making custom tumblers, to me that's not crafting. You have a business where you create custom tumblers. You have a business where you create custom apparel and garments. You have a business where you design for memorials. You have a business where you do printing of stickers and labels and banners and things of that nature. That's not crafting to me, because you're now putting yourself in this one, like you're not being specific. You're not niching down to what it is that you really do. So how is anyone supposed to find you? Knowing how to bake is a craft. But do we go and say, oh, that's a craft business? No, learn 30,000 different crafts. Okay. But I can't just say I have a craft business, because someone's going to be looking for someone that does party favors. They're going to be looking for someone that does candy apples like Bella Dulce Delights. She doesn't say she has a craft business of apples. It's customized apples and Rice Krispie treats and things of that nature. If I'm looking for someone that's going to make me a business shirt, as a business, I'm damn sure not looking for no craft business. So my mindset changed over the past couple of years, because you guys were coming to me, how do I start a business? How do I start a business? How do I start a business? So it changed. Now I'm starting to slowly mix both in. But what I also need crafters to understand is, you may be doing it just for crafting and you're like, well, I'm not making any money off of it. Unfortunately, I cannot still teach you for free just because you're a crafting. There's no way for me to know who's just a crafter and they're not making money off of it, and who's doing it for business and they want to learn to turn a profit. So everybody gets treated legally, and everybody got to pay for this knowledge of 26 years. I'm still stuck in figuring out which fonts to put together to end up with a really nice look. How often do you just practice it? Like, being honest with yourself, how often do you really, really practice that? And I know you've been busy, trying to create for your different shows and stuff like that. You have a lot of those. So you are going to have to make a decision on when do you prioritize time to really work on that. If you're not really working on it, you're going to continue to struggle with it because you're not investing time to work that part of your brain and really work that part, like that creative part, and where it becomes second nature. So if you're not prioritizing time, if you're not just practicing it, if you're not putting random shit together, it's going to always be a struggle for you. I want to put together a party for the Super Bowl using foam board, yard flag, auto flags, and figure out something I can give to the guests to take with them. Memorabilia like keychains or something. Oh, you're trying to do a whole lot. One thing I would recommend with that is keep the design the same across the board. Where a lot of people struggle at is these are a lot of things that, okay, let me ask this. Have you done any of these things before? Have you worked and have you cut foam board out and you know exactly how to cut it? Do you know how to make yard, like if it's like, have you done any garden flags? Or if you mean like the yard sign that's coroplast, have you ever done it where you've had a print and you've put vinyl over that? Let's see what else. The auto flag, like the ones for the car. Have you sublimated that type of material as of yet? If the answer is no to all of those, me going and teaching you designs for those aren't going to help you when it comes time to actually create them. I find so many crafters want to try and lump them together, and you really can't. Design is one thing. Learning to master all of these different skills is something else. So if it's cutting foam board, you need to practice that before you go and do any type of cutout for Super Bowl. And whatever the design is, it's going to be the same techniques to cut it. How often are you getting some foam board, creating just different shapes, putting random shapes, practicing your cuts and making your stress cuts? How often are you practicing that? How often are you practicing taking a piece of coroplast or foam board, taking vinyl, putting it down, squeegeeing it, seeing if you're going to get bubbles or not? That is a skill in of itself. It has nothing to do with the design portion. I can show you how to find football designs and football fields and what's the thing called, goal posts, or the down markers and all that kind of stuff. Like, I can definitely show you to do this. But if you don't know how to do the actual project, you learn to do design, and that's where you're going to stop at because you're going to be frustrated. You have to practice all parts of this. Hey, honey buns, how art thou? So memorials and stuff like that definitely will not be something that you will ever really see me do on a free platform. That is definitely something that will be in paid classes, and going from beginner ones, a lot of the ones that you guys see that like have all these like different backgrounds, all this stuff, that's more advanced. You got to start smaller. So I actually have a full program for that, and it is going to start on a beginner level and teaching the very, very, very basics of it. Maybe like if you are someone who's new, I wouldn't necessarily offer programs where you're doing 30,000 pictures, because trying to figure out how to arrange them can be a daunting task. If you're starting out, making your limit be like 10 pictures. And if somebody wants more, you have to be willing to know your limitations. And if somebody wants an 8-page spread and they want 50 pictures in it, you're not ready for that. And it's okay to pass up on that. Maybe still act like, you're not going to be the one that's going to be responsible for having this out in time, because it then has to go to a printer. It has to be printed. Do you understand about your print margins and how they're going to print it? Do you understand what questions to ask? So when I'm teaching about programming, like programs, I don't want that to be a course where I'm just going to teach you about designing, because if I teach you about the design part, but I never teach you about how the file has to be set up, when you go to send it to that person to print it, or even if you get the equipment to print it and it has to be set up a certain way, but we just stopped at the design part, you're once again going to be stuck. So I try to teach that business full on. The only thing I haven't done is the foam board. Okay, so that's one that just practice on. If you're wanting to do Super Bowl, yes, we know we kind of have a few months. Now, there we go. Designing is more so selecting the right images, finding the right images, searching online to find uh like it looks like a stadium or the field. When I did the Super Bowl party at our house, like my little popcorn buckets, they looked like the down markers and they had like a little pick in there. So that's what that was supposed to look like. We wrapped the sodas to look like referees. So it's just black and white stripes on there. I had little trays that looked like football fields and it had the Super Bowl, name and stuff on it. We had little picks inside the sandwiches with a little logo I created myself. What else did we have? I'm trying to think. I can't think of like the other stuff that we had. But I didn't do like a lot of like big decoration. I just kind of decorated the food table. So I can, it was certain things that I wanted to have. I wasn't really doing like these like rasterized ones where it's like a football stadium, like a picture of one with like all the lights and stuff. And I want helmets on the field to look like they're battling. And like, I wasn't really looking for any of that type stuff. Everything that I did was all vector based. So if you come to me and say, okay, I want to learn how to make some stuff for a Super Bowl party, my first thought is going to be to teach it how I would do it. And you're going to pay for this. You're going to be like, I'm not saying you, but some people, if they go, they said, okay, oh yeah, I'm going to teach you how to set everything, how to prepare for a Super Bowl party and all the different party favorite stuff like that you can make. Now I'm going to teach you based off of my way of doing it. But if you were really looking for more of those raster and like full realistic type images, you wanted the helmets to look, you wanted to have something where it's like the two teams and players and they're battling it. Like if that's the look you were going for, then my class would have done nothing for you because you were looking for a different type of design. I'm trying my best to get you guys to be as descriptive as possible because someone can say, I want to learn how to design for birthday parties. What type of birthday parties? Girls, boys, doing something where it's like butterflies or just colors is different than designing with a character. It's easier to design around characters. There's different levels to each of these. And I'm looking for you guys to show examples of what it is that you're trying to learn. I can teach you anything because I'm well versed in anything. But for me, my default is going to be more simplistic. I'm working in your 10-day design and I'm going to do your classes on phone, do your class on phone board. Okay, awesome. So yeah, that 10-day crash course in designing, really write notes on it. Make sure you're taking mental note of like things I'm talking about, spacing, negative space, how to fill out your design. If you have something big on this side or, do this on that side, how to make items look like it's in the distance versus coming to the front, and start to just really think about, draw out. You don't have to be a great artist, but you can kind of sketch out the type of layout that you want. Start to look on Creative Fabrica or PNG Tree or Etsy or designbundles.net or just searching Google for different background images. Think about the ones, create a folder that's going to have all of those in it. Don't focus on trying to get the perfect design on the first go. You may need to set up 3 or 4 different designs. And once you have those, okay, well, let's move this around. And eventually you'll come to the final one, especially as a beginner. As a beginner, don't stress yourself out trying to get it perfect in like one take. It's not a waste of time to create 4 different versions, but you only use one. You're working on your design skills when you do that. Do I have a paid class for what? I just talked about a whole lot. I don't know if it's a delay. So a paid class about what? Again, you guys have to be detailed and descriptive. And then also, if you want to know more about like memorial programs, my recommendation is to take a celebrity. They have pictures all over the place, ones that have passed, and practice with that, like making a memorial based off of, this person. Or if someone in your family has passed, just because they have passed, let's say back in the day, they had a service program and you had it, and it's like the old school one. There's nothing wrong with now, like now that you may have like different skills and things like that, make one. It becomes a keepsake. You'll be surprised if you needed to print them, people would still want to purchase one. Yeah, at a funeral, you're normally kind of giving them away because you'll probably insurance, all that stuff. But if you just created and someone wanted it, either you let them see it digitally and you provide it digitally, or if they want a physical one, you put a price to it and they'll pay to have it printed. They'll pay you to have it printed out and either mail it to them or you hand it out to them. But there's nothing that says just because someone passed away 10 years ago that you can't do an updated service program to work on your skills. Right? Because the more I practice, the better I get. It took me 6 hours today to create a cruise t-shirt design. Okay, let me see. Let's see if I have a text message with this design on it. Ooh, hold on. God damn. Florida State beat UM. Not that I really thought that UM was going to win, but it was getting kind of close. It was only 7. I really thought that it might have been a blowout when we were really close. I thought we had a chance. Now I'm about to hit my brother's mouth. Nah, I ain't got no picture. It's okay though. All right, y'all. I'm actually now a full hour over my time. I'm pretty sure my cutouts are done, but my sister did not call me. All right. Thank you for your input. Thank you. Your input is very valuable to me. I'm learning a lot. I have come to believe your input is priceless. Oh, thank you. I really mean that. You will forever have my support with classes and products. Oh, thank you. Elements can be seriously though, elements can be just like fonts. Choosing the right font can take a long time, and choosing elements can be even longer because you may find something that looks really good, like one part of it, right? And then you go to look for, like, you want to add something else to it. And the one that you find separately, you like them, but they don't go together. So now you have to be like, okay, well, which one do I really want to keep? Okay, so, or you may end up finding complementary elements to both of those, like, things that you found. So, okay, you're doing a cruise. So let's say you found like, oh, you know what? Everyone was using that like watercolor type cruise ship. So let's say you found the cruise ship first, right? And you're doing it in full color. Because I did some cruise ones, but I did mine in all one color. So it's like, had the rope thing to it. I had the cruise ship. I think I had an anchor was part like inside the design and stuff like that. So if I'm doing it as all vector, it's going to be a little bit different in finding those elements that I can either trace or finding that SVG. If you're doing it as a full color one, so let's say you find that cruise ship, right? So a lot of people are using that like watercolor type cruise ship thingamajiggy, like everybody was using it. But now you want to add like palm trees, or it's like if you found the one where it's just the cruise ship, but it's not on water, but you want to look like on water, now you got to find a background that's more like watercolor, because you can't go and take like one that was taken with a Canon picture of water and then put this watercolor cruise ship on it. Like, they don't match, right? So then like the palm trees and stuff, okay, are they scaled properly? Even if you put like the little rope, okay, this was more watercolor, but this rope looked like I took this thing right off the dock. Like, so choosing elements, like, man, I really like the resolution. I like this one. Damn it. Now I got to go find a different cruise ship. So that can be a lot. That's why I say create 3 or 4 different variations. Like, all of the elements that you bring in, that you find, don't let it be in vain. Try to create something with it, because what you originally thought that you might like, or that was your original thought process, once you really find these elements, or once you find the fonts, now everything changes. And it's okay for it to change. Right, that was my issue, that I had to change the, see, and then you have to change the colors. You have to remember, these come in as a delay. I don't see them right away sometimes. So just like, that's what I was talking about. I just went from, I think I talked, like I answered hers, then it was like the cruise ship designing, fonts, elements, picking different ones. So I don't know what it is that you're referring to. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm still not sure what you were referring to. I also talked about my sister's stickers, so I don't know what you're referring to. Sorry. But yeah, know that for me, the teaching part is really big for me. There's going to be a lot of classes that come down the pipeline. I'm trying to be very descriptive in what it is that you're going to learn. Don't feel like you have to take every class if you feel like you're not at that level yet, and that's not the type of designing that you're wanting to learn. There's going to be some times where I might say like memorial, and each one of these memorial designs is going to be something different. They're not going to be the same. I may do birthday, and they're going to be different. They're not going to be the same. And you may not be able to take all the classes, and it's okay. Just know that, once you work through something and you're done with that, when you have a good grasp of it, you can always purchase the playback for it, or, be in a different class. Yes, I did print them already. Thank you so much for everything you share with us. I too have purchased digital and physical products from you, and will continue to support and recommend you. Thank you, guys. As far as like technically digital products and stuff like that in classes, like old school, like some of my old, like that's been in the archive. Like I like to say, like I'm kind of want to be like Disney, and they've been in the vault because they're like 2 years old, but they're still really great classes. You guys are going to have an opportunity to purchase those classes that you technically can't find on the website right now, at some really great prices. Coming up very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure that you guys are checking your emails from us. Take us out of your junk mail. I don't spam you with a lot of emails. So take us out of your junk mail. Make sure you're on the lookout for it, because some of the deals are only going to, why am I shaking my head? Because technically it should be a yes. Some of the deals are only going to be available to those who are on the email list, some of the best deals. And then the ones I put out publicly, just like the regular stuff. So don't get mad at me if you kind of catch me live and it's like, I put out a deal, but then like a couple days later, you go over to your what that thing called? Your emails and you saw that it was a better deal, I suggest you check your emails first. All right. So I am going to get out of here. Until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity. Be incredible. Continue to shop. Shop at hsinc365.com. If nothing else, a great way to say thank you for all of the information that I provide is to go and purchase our products. We are looking to, add other things. So if you're someone that doesn't do sublimation or you're not using silhouette, I'm always open to suggestions. Let us know what are you doing creatively. And if you're like, if you sold this, you'd have me hook, line, and sinker because this is what I do. I now have to go get it from somebody else who's not really supporting me, not showing the love, not really helping me. So if you have this, you have a customer for life. Let us know. What would you be interested in, Honestly Speaking, or HS Inc. carrying in our line of Honestly Speaking products? All right. You need ink. Which one? All right. Ooh, the printhead may be working now. Okay. Thank you, my dear. All right. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.